the theory that pleasure, or happiness, is the highest good and the aim of human life. Hey, what's up guys? It's your boy, MustardProphet. And in today's episode of Interesting Philosophy Topics, I will be going over hedonism. Pleasure is king. Stay tuned. The word hedonism comes from the ancient Greek word for pleasure. Hedonism is a philosophy that believes the only purpose of life is to gain pleasure. Considering pleasure as the only intrinsically valuable aspect of life, and living a life based on such terms does sound appealing, an ethical hedonist will do anything within his capability to maximize the pleasures of life. But there are arguments against the philosophy, deeming it superficial. EPICUREAN, an ancient Greek philosopher, is far from what today sees as hedonistic. Hedonism is a philosophical quest to reduce the anguish caused by life and the fear of death. The paradox of hedonism, however, lies in the argument that constant pursuing of pleasure hinders the process of actually experiencing it. He looked at pleasure as one of two things: kinetic and charismatic pleasures. Kinetic pleasures are the ones that come from satisfying an itch, like eating a candy bar or spending money on car parts. But charismatic pleasures are more or less the fulfillment of not actually wanting more. In other words, being okay with what you have. Epicurean looked at charismatic pleasures as more of his main priority in the pleasure category. A quote by C.S. Lewis says, "We have had enough, once and for all, of hedonism, the gloomy philosophy which says that pleasure is the only good." In the original Old Babylonian version of the Epic of Gilgamesh, which was written soon after the invention of writing, Siddharu gave the following advice: "Fill your belly, day and night, make merry. Let the days be full of joy, dance and make music day and night. These things alone are the concern of men." This may represent the first recorded advocacy of a hedonistic philosophy. In ancient Egypt, hedonism popped up as well. Entertaining guests at a feast were common in ancient Egyptian tombs, and sometimes contained hedonistic elements, calling for guests to submit to pleasure because they cannot be sure they will be rewarded for good with a blissful afterlife. The following is a few lyrics from a song attributed to the reign of one of the pharaohs around the time of the 12th dynasty, and the text was used in the 18th and 19th dynasties. "Let thy desire flourish. In order to let thy heart forget the beatifications for thee, follow thy desire, as long as thou shalt live. Put myrrh upon thy head, and clothing of fine linen upon thy, being appointed with genuine marvels of the gods' property. Set and increase thy good things, let not thy heart flag. Follow thy desire and thy good. Fulfill thy needs upon earth, after the command of thy heart, until there come for thee the day of mourning." Democritus seems to be the earliest philosopher on record to have categorically embraced a hedonistic philosophy. He called the supreme goal of life contentment, or cheerfulness, claiming that joy and sorrow are the disgusting marks of things beneficial and harmful. Critics of hedonism have objected to its exclusive concentration on pleasure as valuable, or that the retention breadth of dopamine is limited. Perhaps the most famous objection to hedonism is Robert Nozick's famous experience machine. Nozick asks us to hypothetically imagine a machine that will allow us to experience whatever we want. If we want to experience making friends, it will give this to us. Nozick claims that by hedonistic logic, we should remain in this machine for the rest of our lives. However, he gives 3 reasons why this is not a preferable scenario. Firstly, because we want to do certain things as opposed to merely experiencing them. Secondly, we want to be a certain kind of person as opposed to an indeterminate blob. Thirdly, because such a thing would limit our experiences to only what we can imagine. Peter Singer, a hedonistic utilitarian, and Katarzynian de Lazari Radic have both argued against such an objection by saying it only provides an answer to certain forms of hedonism and ignores others. In particular, G.E. Moore offered a thought experience in criticism of pleasure as a sole bearer of value. He imagined 2 worlds, one of exceeding beauty and the other a heap of filth. Neither one of these worlds will be experienced by anyone. The question then is if it is better for the beautiful world to exist than the heap of filth, and this more implies that states of affairs have value beyond conscious pleasure, which he spoke against the validity of hedonism. So for some of my thoughts on hedonism. Honestly, I kind of agree with some aspects of it. Yeah, eating a chocolate bar every day isn't a good idea, but maybe taking some time off once in a while isn't such a bad thing either. In life, sometimes you have to let go of the things you want, because those may be causing you the most pain. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace. Advocacy